Yesterday, played for a birthday party on Hilton Head Island. And what to say about it? It was raining, so the setup was in rain, and it's just an observation that's worth paying some attention to because whatever atmosphere you go into, it impacts, the overall vibe of everyone there and maybe the mood. And so in this particular situation, a number of the people had already left the party in terms of it was a vacation of with a bunch of families all coming together, and some of them had already left and gone home, and so there were the remaining families is who I was playing for, and really, I guess the most interesting aspect of this event was I had specific song requests that were given to me, artists that the birthday girl liked. She was turning 50, I believe, and so I was given a list of singer-songwriter guys like John Denver, John Mayer, James Taylor, Fleetwood Mac, stuff like that, and so I worked into stuff in that ballpark. And after probably about 30 minutes or so, I had one of the members of the party came up to me, one of the men, saying, like you could tell he was like a little bit disappointed with the energy, and he was like instructing me, and I gotta say I didn't like his approach. So if he's seeing that, you know, you should show some respect to what the artist was doing, and just the way he approached it wasn't right, but it's okay. But he wanted the energy to be picked up and wanted to be more of like a dance party, and so I just read the room wrong, I suppose. But it's hard to say because again, if one person, I think this is something I talked about in a previous video. One person coming up and telling you something does not mean that that's the direction that the room should go. And so if somebody kind of comes and insists on their opinion, it kind of sucks because it's like now you have this tension with this person where you want to appease as much as you can everybody in the room, but if I'm betting, it seems to me that the direction I'm working in, that's the guy that paid me, told me these are the songs that she would like. A lot of other people seem to be enjoying it. It seems to be a mellow atmosphere in general. When I came into the room, I've already lifted the energy from where it was, like significantly. So it's just a little bit straight. Like, am I sure that this guy knows what he's talking about, or am I just going to be like turning myself into a dancing monkey and just way overdoing it? But he was pretty insistent and strong about it, and to be honest, I was already going to throw some of that out there just to see how it hit. Literally, if he didn't say anything, the next song I was going to do was something that was in the vein of what he wanted. But regardless, I went to La Bamba after that, and I went to Footloose. Anyway, I moved into that direction of just much more upbeat kind of stuff, and the flow of the night was unique. I went into upbeat stuff, and then they started having dinner not that long after that. I think, Footloose, La Bamba, Hot, 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 getting them to sing Ole, Ole. And then dinner started, and the dinner table was like right in front of where I was, so I needed to pull back in terms of my volume and overall energy level. And so I did some instrumental stuff, but I did some light kind of singing. Dinner was really short, and then we went right back into it. And it's just weird because I kept the energy pretty high. Like I didn't even really let the energy drop that much during dinner. And then the guy comes back to me. He's like, "All right, it's time to pick it back up again." It's like, bro. And so it's like, you want me to be like having a stroke? It's like my energy's already way up here, man. But anyway, I pushed myself for 3 hours, and I didn't take a break, and People had a really good time. So I think I got a lot of people dancing. But here's the thing, and this is where I feel like it's just true. Like the guy doesn't really know what he's talking about, and really, I think it was really more about him wanting to exert some kind of control or authority, or seem like he knows what he's doing, and he kind of feels like he just needs that sense of doing something. And I think that's more what it was. Because later, it's like if he just let me do my thing, we probably would have had the same result. But I gave him some props to end, and I don't give him like I gave him I dapped him up and said relieved some of the tension that was between the two of us. And said, okay, fine. You pushed the energy up. People liked it, so okay, maybe you were right. But in my view, it's like I was already going to go there, and whether it was that next song or at some point in the night, I'm going to start throwing that stuff out there and just see if that's what people want. But it's really about working the energy, and so that's what I'm trying to do, is get a feel for where the energy is, and then slowly build, and then throw something here, and do people want to move in this direction? And if they like it, then okay, well, let's work with that, rather than just let's go here, and then okay, it's jolting. It doesn't feel right. I like to ease into things and see where the flow likes to go, where the energy likes to go. And what kind of cements this in my mind is at the end, I had built the energy up pretty good, and then I moved to a nice slow ballad, The Way You Look Tonight. And this is the thing about slow songs, is that like there's a few different components. Like one part of the energy issue is their own energy, because I'm working, like I said, the energy in the room overall, like they seemed like they were in a good mood, but it was really mellow. Like they've had a long vacation week, they've already been partying or whatever, and it's mellow. Like, and I think people were on edibles. So it was super mellow, and so it makes it difficult to work with. But it's not just about like that the song needs to be brr, 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 brr. When I played The Way You Look Tonight, and I bring it slow, but it's just I'm 100% into it, and they ate it up, bro. They ate it up, and they loved it, and it created a beautiful moment that you can get into, and just as much as the stuff. So it's like, so anyway, clearly you can see I had but that's something you got to deal with in the live environment, and it's a relationship that I'm negotiating that's difficult, because it's a small party. It was maybe like 14 people, maybe 20 at the most, and probably 8 or 10 of those were young teenagers who were just running around and weren't there half the time. And so sometimes I was just playing to 8 people or something, And so if one of those people you're negotiating a relationship with, and they happen to be one of the more authority kind of people in the room, it kind of matters. And so you got to be careful with it. And so just makes it those are the challenges that are outside of the music. And but we got there, and at the end he was converted. I think mostly, but it was like, you were awesome. So I'm like, okay. So I gained his approval, and then I'm like, I don't know. We still just never saw eye to eye. It is what it is. And I guess I'll leave it there. We're at 9 minutes. I don't know if there's a whole lot to take away from it, but I guess just staying consistent, keep putting your best foot forward, trying to work with difficult people and not taking it too hard, and just pushing forward, and just understanding that's part of the job, and you keep pushing forward, and that not every moment of any particular situation, you can't expect every gig to just be like a dream. Work is difficult, and I think that's something maybe a lot of performers, including myself, can just remember, is that when you go to do a job, you're going to run into challenges. Even simple jobs, like if I'm fixing a sink in my house, one sink as compared to the other, even if they're like the same identical sink, just the awkwardness of getting your arm, around and curving it so you can get the wrench on and get visibility with a flashlight or something. Every one is completely different, and some are just as simple in theory as it might be. They can be really awkward and challenging sometimes, and to not let that discourage you or get you down, and just understand that's the job tonight, and learn what you can. Try to see where you need to improve, where maybe the issue is you and you just need to put a better foot forward, and where you can just be patient, understanding that you just got to take it in stride. And and then I'll share one last thing, which is another one of the party members came up to me after, and this guy I was getting along with pretty well, and liked the guy, and he asked me what my favorite music was. And this is a question that I think probably a lot of musicians will get, because people are curious, what is a musician like? And my actual answer, unfortunately, is kind of like, I don't have the true answer, and I start to wonder, should I just tell them, well, my influences are this, these are the people I used to listen to. But the true answer for me, and probably this is a common answer with musicians, and I'm sure there's plenty of musicians that are not like this, but for me, I don't really listen to music anymore, because when I started making a lot of music, I was in open mics all the time. I was around music so much that I wanted silence. I don't want to listen to anything. And then also you start to hear music in a more structural, kind of mathematical way. The way I experience music is not the same as I did when I was growing up as a kid, and so most music is not actually that interesting to me, and I don't. There's most music I don't really enjoy listening to, and because I'm working when I'm listening to music, and so that's the way it is for me. It's like people love music, and so I don't want to. And then they're excited. I love performing the music, and I in my own way I do love music. I'm not crazy about listening to it, and I don't seek it out to listen to it all that often, because I already hear it and perform it and working with it so much that I just don't, in my free time, I'm not interested in listening to it. But, and so then that's a pretty disappointing answer for most people, because they're so excited to hear, what does a musician listen to? Like, I want to know the real stuff, the real good stuff or whatever. And then you're like, music sucks. It's like... They're like, well, shit, it just is it comes as a curveball, and a very disappointing curveball. So I'm thinking, I'm thinking about, should I just give them a different kind of answer, because that's just so consistently not an answer. It's like they want to leave. They're like, oh, but I gave this answer actually as a real answer. I'm listening to right now traditional Chinese lo-fi music. I've been studying Mandarin, and I found this lo-fi HSK podcast, and it's got this lo-fi music with traditional Chinese instruments as kind of the texture, and I think it sounds really good. I really like it. It's just meditative. I can think. It's really cool stuff. And so the guy's like, what? It's like, I just got done playing like Sweet Home Alabama and Sweet Caroline, La Bamba, Footloose, Harvest Moon, some John Mayer stuff. And then I'm like, yeah, but on my free time I listen to traditional Chinese lo-fi. So it's like... Anyway, that's the gig breakdown for today, and I've got a couple more this weekend, and I'll look forward to providing those updates. I think going forward, I'm just going to do one a week, so I'm not going to do one for every gig. So I think this will be the last one. I was already planning on that, and then I kind of forgot and did this one, but going forward, I'm just going to do one a week. So thanks for watching the video. I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one.